University, as you know, we have industry, we have academy, we have KOLs that are simply amazing, and there is so much to learn from them. So we want to thank you. We're going to give you a couple of minutes for you to settle in. We want to thank all the team behind this, especially, as you can see there, those translators, their colleagues, in different parts of the world. For example, Imane is in US translating to French. That's amazing. We have Mohammed in Germany translating to German. We have become so good friends with Karen that is there in Russia, and it's opening, basically a new continent, talking in Russian. We know in Russia sometimes English is not very fluent, so we are so happy. Today it's a day that I'm very happy for this team, for these guys, but also for the topics we're going to discuss. And why? Is because we don't talk very often about those topics. So I'm going to start, as usual, with your patient's view. The 4 webisodes are coming to the end. This is the last webisode. With what objective is for you guys to improve your practice, and by doing that, improving the quality of life of your patients. Who are we in Ophthalmo University? We're in a community we want to share. Every time we share knowledge, every time we share tools, amazing things happens, just like what is happening right here and right now. What's going to happen today is we're going to have a 5-minute show that is very quick, and we're going to do an introduction of what's going on. Then we're going to have a mask event. In this case, we're going to present 3 consults that are going to be masked, and we're going to learn a lot from them. Then the academy with Jason Peñacock and another amazing team that did a lot of research, and we found every single piece of evidence that is important for this. And then with the great Faustino Vidal and Shemaine again, we're going to do a little bit about communication and education with our patients. I'm going to present the panel. We have Laureano. Laureano, it's right now in a flight that got delayed, so probably we're not going to have it, or we're going to have it in the end. Laureano was so kind with us to share many, many things. He was a mask surgeon, and now he's here with us as the panels. Thank you, Laureano. Dr. Kiel from Norway. It's a very interesting story that we're going to share with you. With an amazing private practice from whom we can learn a lot. Then Dr. Katerina from Czech Republic, thank you for being here with us. Also an amazing consult, and we're going to learn a lot from her. And Dr. Francesco Carone, he doesn't need an introduction. We heard a lot of him. He's doing amazing things in ophthalmology for a long time. So thank you for being here with us. And as we said, we're going to start the 5-minute show by thanking everybody. There is so many people I will forget if I start naming them. But the important thing here is we had from people doing software to people translating to people doing marketing, branding, everything, was very, we work a lot in every single detail. I think that's the main concept. I want to thank everybody who was here with us. These 6 guys, they're not behind the scenes, they're in the scenes, and they're helping us to translate this to many languages so we can reach many, many places. I'm going to thank them one by one. Imane, thank you so much for translating to French. Dr. Mohammed, translating to German, thank you so much. The great Cesar, already a part of the family, translating to Portuguese. Luz Marina as well, he's been with us since the beginning. Thank you so much for giving us your time. And Chiara from Italy and Dr. Karen from Russia, they're already in the team for a couple of events, and they're helping us so much. Thank you very, very much for your kindness. The other thing we have is we have ambassadors. What we wanted is one representative from every single country in Europe. As we know, Europe can be very heterogeneous, and many countries, they're even neighbors, but they behave very differently. And that's very important to understand what happened. And we did a survey a survey that it's almost 500 responses. And especially we want to thank Italy and Romania that these guys did a great work. For those who didn't answer, please take a picture to that QR code, and then you can answer the questions very fast. And then lately we're gonna share all the responses, especially for us. This has only a research purpose, and then we're gonna share everybody with all the community, okay? Those questions, those answers are very important to see what's happening through Europe. One of the important things was we had people from 30 to almost 40, 45 years responding. That's very important because we can see the profile of what these colleagues are thinking. And very interesting. We thought that we're going to have a lot of residents and young colleagues, but almost half were ophthalmologists with more than 5 years in practice. Okay, and one of the insights of that survey is what I'm showing here today, and it's very important for what's going to happen in the discussion. Basically, what you can see there is when we ask people if they were comfortable performing surgery, they say yes. When we ask, are you comfortable tracking your measures and what is happening in the eye with what you are doing, and they say not that much. And then we ask, are you comfortable measuring patient satisfaction? And they also said no. Okay, so there is two big areas of opportunity in how we can improve our outcomes. Okay. This is going to be very important. Every time we open our mouth in Ophthalmo University, we say that we want to give something away. Okay, so the add value to your time, it's very important. It's one of the most important concepts that we use. So every time, we ask a question, every time we do a comment with the colleagues, it's going to be with that purpose, to add value to your time. This is another very important concept. There's many people that already have heard this many times, but I'm gonna say it again. This is academy and industry working together with the same goal, going in the same direction. You can see there the QR for the Alcon Experience Academy. Alcon has supported us very much to make this happen, to make it efficient for you. We have Shemaine here that had been part of the process since the beginning, and I want to thank her personally and in front of everybody. Shemaine, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much, Ivo. As this is our last webisode of Your Patient's View, you and I always kind of start to tear up at the end for all the work that goes behind the scenes now. But I really want to take the time to thank you as a moderator, Andres, Lisandro, especially we couldn't do this without you, but your whole team at Ophthalmo University. It's amazing what all of you really do for the community. So this would not be possible without everybody and the Ophthalmo University community. So amazing translators. I think the fact that we're able to translate this event in 6 languages is something that I'm also very impressed with. So every week, the panel has been top notch. The insights that they've given, everything that we've learned is just what we want to do here. So at Alcon Experience Academy, we're proud to sponsor this educational event and just invite everyone to come check out the Alcon Experience Academy. We have over 800 educational modules. So a nice complement to everything that Ophthalmo University and also the other sponsor, ESASO, does for the community. So thank you.
Exactly, no, thank you. And as you said, there's 3 organizations that care a lot of teaching and sharing knowledge. Skill and knowledge transfer is our main objective, and also ESASO has been part of this event, and we want to thank them very much for their entire support. The only thing I'm going to ask for this event is, again, to have a new perspective, to think about what the patient is. It's, when he's in the slit lamp like this, what is he thinking? Is he understanding what we're communicating? Is he understanding the best options that we can give them? I think that perspective can be very important at the moment we talk about. And again, to finish the 5 minutes show, I love this quote. I'm gonna keep telling this quote is from Tim Grover, who was Michael Jordan's trainer, personal trainer, and he will say that you're only as good as the tool you have chosen and the ability to use them in their maximum potential. So, you know, we're gonna have a lot of tools. In this case, as you can see there, we have a Panoptics rolling and we have a VBT rolling. So can we use that technology to improve our practices? That's the key. There has been 4 connected webisodes. You can go back and see each one of them. All of them were connected. This is number 4, but in number 1, we talk about the journey. In number 2, we talk about the pre-op. Last week, we talked about surgery. People were so happy, you know, to talk about surgery and the keys. And today, the post-op, in my opinion, is the most important one, because after the journey is finishing, then you have the chance to make an impact in the quality of life of the patient and also to improve your own practice. So now, we, you know, in honor to Italy and Venice with the masks, and Dr. Carone is here to represent that amazing country as Italy. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna show very short videos, but are very short, so pay attention. There are 2 or 3 minute videos about mask clinics. Okay, the important thing when we talk about mask clinic, I'm gonna ask one thing. I spent 1 week asking Lisandro to make this possible. You know, maybe people think it's simple, but for me, it's one of the most important things for tonight, that line is what we think it's the journey. Okay, we think the people come, people have a diagnosis, and then they have a treatment, and then they have you know, they go to their houses. But then, in my opinion, that journey, let's see if you can see it there, it's rounded. So that patient that goes to your clinic can recommend you if they have a good experience. Okay, so that journey is not a line, but a circle. And if we really pay attention to that circle is 3-dimensional. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So that journey that the patient has with you as a surgeon has many, many dimensions. So we're going to put video number 1, please, for the mask event. And we're going to show something you're going to really like. In the mask clinic number 1, I'm gonna do you know, some audio for it. You can see a patient going through many studies, but I think it's really important here the concept as how much empathy there is, how much explanation. You know, the machine is surrounded with a human being that is completely trained to explain every single little detail and thing that is happening to their eyes. We're talking about cataract surgery, and then you saw, you know, how important was dry eye in these cases. So we're gonna talk a lot about dry eye, and you can see in this mask clinic how dry eye has a very important role. The second thing is, as we saw, the OPD scan. OPD scan can give us many other items that are important, for example, aberrometry and pupillar diameter. And we are seeing also images from topography. So the cornea plays an important role every time we're talking about premium IOLs. Okay, this is very important. And I think we have somebody who is very close to this clinic, okay, that can give us a little bit more of, you know, what's going on in this amazing clinic. Dr. Carones, thank you for being here with us, and I will love for your comments from you.
Ivo, thank you for inviting. This is amazing, and I'm so excited in being in this group. I'm amazed in seeing people from Argentina down to Kazakhstan participating, and this is really great. Actually, this is my practice, as Ivo was saying, and this is my one of my technicians as you were seeing, the technician is spending a lot of time with the patient. Actually, a single technician runs all the exams since the very beginning. I mean, the technician is the one welcoming the patient into the practice, and the technician refracts the patient, as you see here, after having run some critical exams. The technician also assesses, like in this guy example, eye dominance. The technician also interacts with the patient during dilation phase, explaining about the surgery, telling the patient about the options, and all of that. And again, I like to remind that it is a single one that does all of it, because we really want some kind of, fidelization and trust to be built in between the patient and a single person. And in a perfect world, that could be the doctor, but obviously there is not time enough for a doctor to do all of that. So in terms of time optimization, the doctor cannot spend as much time as a technician that the practice can pay for to do all the didactic, all the explanations, and all of that. But again, I think that the feeling that the patient should have at the end of this process is that not only the doctor, not only the ophthalmologist, not only the surgeon is the one with expertise, but everybody at the practice is at the same level and can really give explanations and perhaps also early advices on what the best option for the patient may be. So this is the last phase of the examination. You see the patient is run through anterior segment OCT, and then usually the patient goes to the doctor.
Excellent. Very, very interesting things happen there. Well, and there's no mask anymore, and I think that's great. We wanted it that way. We wanted for people to understand that it's your clinic and how much you pay attention. I think it was very efficient. We saw many, many devices. I would like to ask Katerina, when you are in the consult, when you put a premium IOL, in this case, Panoptics or VVT, what are the items that are more important to you?
Like from the examination, or? Yeah,
in general.
Okay, so I think before I start with the indication, before I meet the patient, I want to learn about him as much as possible. So about the retina, about the cornea, I would say the cornea is really crucial because of the astigmatism, because of any irregularities, the dryness of the eye, and so on. So we have the same system. I would say that we have one technician who is highly skilled, who has the knowledge and who performs completely the examinations. And so I would say it's always the complex. And when you have these premium IOLs, especially the trifocals, the eye has to be really healthy before you indicate such a lens. So it has to be really complex and thorough with examination, just not to have trouble in the future.
Excellent, excellent. Dr. Kiel, it's great to have you here. What about you? What do you do in your private practice? About how many studies and how efficient you do it? I think he's freeze, right?
I can hear you, but can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, and I'm sitting in the dark, so you can hardly see my face, and I'm so ugly. It's a good thing for you. But let's say I know Francesco from many years back, and I know it's actually the art of quality, bringing all the devices and having one person to go through all the examinations from A to Z. I follow more or less the same rules, but ahead of any kind of instrumental examination, the technician starts spending probably 5 minutes with the patient, asking for his or her motivation, because the correct motivation is probably what can lead you to either success or potential failure. If they have the right motivation, you can go on and have all the instrumentation or all the instrument measurements done. And that is also performed by a technician in my clinic. And when all the measurements are done, I have approximately between 5 and 20 minutes with the patient in order to sum up all the examinations and make a decision. Some patients are very easygoing. There are green lights all over the place, and it can be relatively fast going to be undergo surgery or who's not, because avoiding problems ahead of surgery is always the best thing to steer away from problematic cases.
Sorry, Ivo, we can't hear you.
We're gonna go to mask surgery number 2. That's gonna be a very important concept that I want to discuss with the panel. In this consult, I want you to think about everything you're seeing. You're gonna see an amazing setting, almost looks like a museum. Everything it's in his place, every detail, even the pictures in the wall. And I want you to imagine as a patient, right? Your patient's view. When you enter to a clinic like this, what are you expecting? Okay, because when you enter to a place like this, it's saying something. And here, it's a clinic that has an interesting branding. And look at the word branding. And here is, they offer only the best technology available. In this case, every single patient will do cataract surgery with femtolaser. Every single patient will have a premium IOL. Of course, if they're candidates. If they're not candidates, then they will discuss, okay, you're not a candidate for the IOL we put here, then we're gonna put a second IOL because of this and that. As you can see there, all and many diagnosis machines to have all the data possible, but then the experience of the patient, it's a premium experience. Dr. Carone, we know you have a clinic that it's similar to this clinic. What are your opinion about that concept?
I completely agree with the concept. The philosophy regarding, when I say cataract surgery, it's the wrong word. When we talk about cataract surgery, in this case, we talk about refractive cataract surgery. And when offering refractive cataract surgery, there is no way but downgrading and never upgrade. This is why the mentality of the medical director, the mentality of the entire staff, the mentality of all the technicians should be aligned in providing the patients the best available technology, either for surgery and for visual rehabilitation. So the second laser for doing the surgery and the best presbyopia correcting IOLs available, like Panoptics and Vivity. So I completely agree with the concept of let's set the bar at that level, and in case there is a reason for downgrade the bar, like a patient is not candidate, we go to that direction. Otherwise, we always try to sell the patients the best available technology.
Excellent. Katerina, what are your thoughts about this concept?
Actually, like we have the same concept, like my father, when we founded our clinic 27 years ago already, like he came with the same idea. And our clinic is a little bit similar, but we have a little bit more modern concept of it. And I would say it's the same for me. Like for me, each patient is potentially like Panoptics or Vivity client. But when he is not healthy or some other reasons, then we, okay, let's say drop to some other lenses, but we have the same idea. And I would say that we treat like all the patients with the same, in the same way. So we perform the same examinations and so on, and they have the same treatment during the surgery itself, just to keep the high quality of the process.
Perfect. I agree completely. Let's go to mask clinic number 3 because we have a lot to talk today. Let's put the introduction to the mask consult number 3, and we'll have a little surprise for you. But one of the important things here is that clinic number 2 was from Dr. Laureano Rementeria, that he couldn't be because of a delayed flight. We want to thank him. He has an amazing consult in Madrid, and we want to thank him very much, and then we can discuss a little more about that concept. So tell me when we have that camera, please. And then we're going to show you, there you go. We're going to show off a little bit today in our campus here in Mexico City. As you can see my setting, it's very nice. But then we're going to go to the consults we use in a simulated environment to teach our students. And we talk about many, many things. First, we don't have the screen here. Let's see. There you go. But this is the hybrid. Well, it went off. This is the hybrid classroom. We talk a lot about basic skills. And here you can see how we have a refractive suit. So Andres Benatti is right here with us, and I would love for him to tell something for the audience, what's going to happen here pretty soon. Andres, tell the audience a little bit about what's going to happen here.
Hi, Ivo. How are you? Thank you so much. We are very excited for what is coming. We have a big project with all the Ophthalmic University team, Alcon, Shemin at the helm. So we're very happy. Stay tuned because we're going to do a great webisode series about refractive surgery.
Excellent. Excellent. As you can see here, we're going to do a lot of refractive surgery, but let's go to our consults. And here I'm going to say a few things, but they're very important for us. One of the best things we did in the past is that area. We believe that if you're efficient, I think Dr. Carone said something about it, the ophthalmologist can see 60, 80 patients a day, and he will move only in this area. Why? Because in this case, for example, look at me. I have all the studies in this screen. The way to do lenses, to do a prescription is by pushing buttons, and I have an automatized phoropter. I have an amazing slit lamp with a screen to tell my patients what I'm seeing in them, but also, and I think here's one of the important keys, I'm efficient, but I'm doing patient education with what the patient has. In this case, as you can see there, is a patient that we're going to put a toric IOL. And this patient can see in this side how he's going to see if he doesn't put a toric IOL, and here how's going to be his vision with toricity. So technology is not only important in many cases to diagnose our patients, but also to do patient education. So we believe in efficiency, we believe in diagnosis, and we believe in technology and in communication. Let's go for you guys to see what's happened in the other room. As Dr. Carone was saying, we have a trained technician that will do all these studies to our patients. So the patient is going to feel comfortable. It's very easy to go with these 3 machines and look at the amazing information we're going to have to make decisions with our patients. We're going to have a corneal analyzer, topography, aberrometry, pupil information that it's very important for many of these IOLs. We're going to do all the measurements, axial length, ACD, keratometries, and also we have a specular microscope. With that patient came, also have a automatized lensometer, so I know his eyes. But let's go, since we are doing a lot of teaching, we're going to thank here, as you can see, this setting is a simulate setting from people from Bionico that they're going to give you $500 in their in everything they have for simulation and to learn surgery. As you can see there, we're going to thank them very much, and probably you're going to get one of them today. And people from Custom Surgical, as you can see there, okay, we are doing streaming. As you can see there, you have one user that it's that screen. So for example, if I sit here and I start doing surgery, I can have Dr. Carone from Italy giving me advice. So that will be great. So let's go back. This was our mask consult number 3. And I will love for Dr. Kiel to give us his insights of what he thinks it's a efficient consult. Are you there, Dr. Kiel? If not, Katerina, are you there to give us some advices?
Actually, I would say you have stressed like most of it. So of course, it's like the who performs the examinations to have as much information as easily as possible available in one place. I believe it's really important. But I would say I would really stress like the people factor, or the personal factor, that you have to speak with the patients and find out like about like their personality and so on. So it's really, really important with these trifocal lenses and so on, like not to forget about this portion of the examination as well.
Perfect. So let's go to another segment of this night. And this segment, it's about the Academy. As we told you, we have an amazing team. I want to thank them for, once again, Jaime, Oliver, Pablo, these guys, and of course, Jason, you're going to see him today. He's going to moderate an amazing segment in where we did a lot of research and we found the best evidence about it. We did everything completely set up. So Jason, thank you so much for being here with us, and it's all yours.
Hey, thank you, Ivo. So hi, everyone. Today we have our final academic corner. And today, the first idea that I want to present to you is this about...
Jason,
yes.
Put your entire screen. We're seeing everything.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Just give me a second. That
Perfect.
better now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ivo. So once again, we're going to talk about, in this final academic corner, about something that is very important for our patients, and that's the postoperative phase. So the first thing I wanted to make you think about is, have you ever heard some of these mythical thoughts? I remember while I was doing a master's that someone said that if you have one happy patient, that happy patient will bring 10 more patients to you. But if you have one sad patient, one bad outcome will cost you at least 29 patients. I tried to find that evidence, I tried to find that article, and I never found it. Or have you ever heard one of your colleagues say, I don't get complaints, so I must be good. Sometimes we make decisions based on myths that have a lot of truth to them, but might not have all the evidence. So as we were thinking about this, we decided to focus on 4 questions. Our 4 questions are: what makes our patients smile? How can we better understand ways of communicating with our patients, specifically word of mouth marketing? What are the key patient-reported outcome measures to follow? And what are the best tools to measure these patient-reported outcome measures? So as we dive in, I like to start by asking, one more thing. Once we have the questions, we conduct a PICO strategy. We select certain terms. We use artificial intelligence, and we also use specific inputs from some experts to find what the best articles or best papers are in a specific topic. And we use this information to just summarize our answers into 1 or 2 slides if possible. So that's what we're doing here, okay? So once again, we're going to go with the first question, and I'd like to ask Dr. Francesco Carone, what makes your patients smile? How can you get them to smile?
All right, this is a critical question because especially in the immediate post-op, patients are always happy because they are enjoying a new way for seeing and all of that. So what I like my patients to smile about is the bottle of champagne that we give them the day after surgery. So I really like to welcome with a bottle of champagne, and we tell them, you see your new vision, so it is something that you have to celebrate on. And so we would like you to toast tonight with your family, and relatives. So here is the bottle that you usually put in the ice and in the refrigerator for toasting tonight. And I think this is a very nice way to communicate the results of the surgery as not a rehabilitative one like a cataract surgery may be. We are talking about getting advantages. They're going far beyond the visual rehabilitation in this case when we are considering presbyopic retinitis. So I really like to give the patients the flavor of you did something special, you have to celebrate on it.
Excellent. So we celebrate.
And they smile a lot.
Excuse me?
And they smile a lot.
And they smile a lot. I imagine that they do. You give them something that is unexpected and you make their day. So what we found is that, once again, meeting expectations is something that will drive patient satisfaction. Specifically, we have to meet the expectation for spectacle independence. And if you guys remember our first seminar, we spoke a little bit about this. Motivation is the one characteristic that might help you get patient satisfaction every single time. When we talk specifically about cataract surgery and extended depth of field, IOLs, we also have to take into account the management of dry eye and other comorbidities. If we do that in a proactive way, we get better satisfaction. If we hit our refractive targets correctly, that's another way of getting satisfied patients. And also using counseling, extensive counseling, spending time with our patients, speaking to them and making sure that they know what's happening, being transparent and know what's happening all over the process. These are the factors that you can do to get better patient satisfaction. So my next question would be for Dr. Katerina. We're now going to talk about what makes patients talk about you specifically. How can we better understand word of mouth marketing? So Dr. Katerina, when patients talk about their experience with you at your clinic, what are the things that they talk about the most?
So I would say these are like two topics they discussed. So first one are the results, what we would expect. So what is the quality of vision? What was the healing, if they were informed? Like if everything was the way we told them in advance. So I would say it's really important to inform in advance, like what to expect. And when they say, yeah, it was like this and this, but they told us before that it will be like that. So I would say they are much more calm, they expect the results and they are much more happy. And I would say like what the people like about our clinic as well is how they were treated, about the complete process. And I would stress like each contact, each person, each phone call, each email, everything is important. And they remember it. It's the complex experience. So it's not about the counseling only or about the procedure only or about the IOL only. It's about everything. So how they are treated from A to Z, really, it's the complex.
Fantastic. So I really like that you talk about how you met your expectations and you make that part of your conversation, and also how you make sure that you highlight the whole experience, the whole process, not just a little part of it. When we're talking about word of mouth marketing, that's when your patients are talking to other patients about you, or your colleagues are talking to other colleagues about you. There's certain advantages over what we normally think about when we're thinking about marketing. Specifically, we can think about the cost that is significantly cheaper. It's a lower cost to have word of mouth marketing. And another advantage is that it propagates a lot faster. So if you want to get this with your patients, there's two things that you need to do. First, you need to give them a rich message. They need to have something that is very important. They have to have a lot of things to say. And then they have to feel that need of sharing it with others. So how do we do this? It sounds simple, it sounds straightforward. You have something that is important to say, so you need to say it, and it's enriched. So here, I'd like to give you this concept. You don't meet their expectations, you beat their expectations. So for instance, if your patients are expecting to be out of commission, out of work for a whole month after cataract surgery, and you get that down to 1 week, then your patients are gonna be very happy. Or if they were waiting for, you know, I'm not gonna be able to work for a week, and instead of that, like Dr. Florian told us in his first, during our first webisode, you have them walking around out of your clinic on that very first day, then that's gonna generate, that's gonna beat their expectation. It's gonna generate the need for them to talk to others. If the patients were expecting to see only from far away and they're surprised with how good their vision is all around, you can beat their expectations and create that first part of having a rich message. And then the second part comes when you create that need for them to share it. So you look for opportunities to place patients in environments where they have to choose that. Another example can be your patients are expecting to have to use a lot of eye drops, and you use a specific formula for them to only use one eye drop or not to have to use any eye drops during that month. Use technology, use whatever is happening so you can find whatever fears your patient have about the surgery. And then once you identify those fears, you address them. And when you address those fears and you beat those fears, you not only met their expectations, but you beat them. And that's how you create word of mouth communication. So my next question is, what do you do after the surgery? Is the client always right? How can we know what to follow, and what are the key patient-reported outcome measures that we need to follow? So Dr. Keel, I'd like to ask you, what kind of things do you measure for patient satisfaction after the surgery? How do you find out how your patients are feeling about your surgery or their experience with you?
We always control our patients at day 1 or day 2 after surgery. And we also try to have a small conversation directly after surgery. So I completely agree that one of the success factors to communicate well with the patient is to have a continuation, to continue the conversation you had ahead of surgery, during the surgery, and after. So you have to have some sort of a line of communication. And if you know the patient's motivations and expectations, you can more or less address that directly after surgery on an individual. Of course, giving them questionnaires which are standardized can give you some sort of information, but the real individual feedback that you can get from each and individual patient is probably more important in order to see how they communicate with you, how they have experienced the first 1, 2, 3 days, based on the basic motivations. What was the real reason why they underwent surgery in the first place?
That's amazing. So you personalize, after making sure that you know who your patient is and what they want, you personalize and you customize everything to their needs and to their expectations, and you measure those. But in order for you to be able to measure those, you have to ask about it beforehand. That's some excellent advice. So what we found is there's the International Consortium for Health Outcomes Measurement, and they have created a tool where we can measure what our patient reported outcomes are. And out of the 10 areas that they suggest, I would like to suggest that these are the 5 areas that you should definitely focus on. If you're going to start with something, please start with these 5 areas. So the first one is their baseline visual status. The second one would be the treatment variables. So here's where you choose the different technologies, the different IOLs, what kind of surgery will you go fem for or not. Then their post-operative visual status. You need to make sure that the refraction is correct, how well you did with the refraction. And finally, their patient-reported visual function. And that is measured with our very last concept or question here, which is what are the best tools to measure the problems in eye care. So patient-reported outcome tools include different scales, different surveys, different questionnaires, but what you want to look for are the RASCH questionnaires. These are the questionnaires that have a good methodology behind them to be able to find what those answers are. Out of these, you have different options, but we would like to highlight the CAT-QUEST survey. This survey has 4 different areas that help you to be very comprehensive when you're measuring their satisfaction. The first thing is performance and how the frequency of the performance certain activities, how much their activities are limited by their vision, how well they're satisfied with the whole process with your surgery, and if they have any perceived cataract symptoms or any perceived symptoms after your surgery. So these are the 4 things that are measured in CAT-QUEST, and that's why it's one of the best, if not the best, tool to use right now. If you have to choose a tool, what the data says right now is that you should be using CAT-QUEST systematically with your patients. So at this point, I would just like to thank the whole team, thank the panel, and remind you that you need not only to meet the patient's expectations, but to beat them as well. I know that Ivo has a few slides for us that use some of these, use an example of this. So Ivo, I'll go to you now. Thank you.
Amazing, Jason, as always. We are used to see this amazing data from you. Thank you so much. And this is very important for not only for what we love, data, but for everybody. Since we met in 2016, Dr. Mats Lundström, that it's the father of all this, the CAT-QUEST and many other questionnaires. We have been doing this with 2 great friends, Arturo Cecilia from Spain and Takashi Ida, an amazing colleague from Brazil. We have some data, I'm not gonna share many details, but I wanted to tell you that with 206 patients from PanOptics, that we already have. We didn't publish this yet, so I'm going to show it very fast. It's not okay to show it, because we need to publish it, but I want you to see the graphics mostly. Look at this. We were asking people if they were satisfied. Look at the graphics. I don't want for you to see the numbers, but like people will tell us and almost 80% that they were very satisfied with the lens. They have very good vision, as you can see in the graphic as well. They don't have, they say they don't have problems, and because this is an actual task by reading the newspaper, so they have no difficulties. It's another way to ask it. No difficulty in reading the newspaper, almost everybody. No difficulties in the computer and engaging activities. You say something broad like, how are you with your activities? And almost all your patients are very satisfied. Okay, so this is something very important to have in mind in the moment to come to this 3rd part. I mean that this 3rd segment, when communicate and educate, when we were framing and we were talking about this activity and how we wanted, I think this is one of the most important segments. We're talking about data. We're talking about that our patients are happy. Now let's talk about how we communicate with our patients and how we build our entire practice to communicate better, to be more efficient, to think about that 3rd dimension we were talking about in that patient journey. So we have a great friend. We have a challenger today for the entire panel. Faustino is going to challenge with amazing questions, this panel. And the first one comes about management of success. So Faustino, thank you for being here with us. It's such a pleasure.
Well, it's an honor. Hopefully you can hear me well without echoes and standards. I have in front of me now the picture of 3 good friends of Francesco, Caterina, and Kilguna. So it's very easy to challenge them because I know that then they will not pay me the beer anymore when we get out. So now what I wanted to do is to be realistic and transparent with the audience too, right? Because I think that what you are mentioning all the time is patient satisfaction, patient outcomes. Okay, important. The best important thing for any surgeon, any MD, and everyone, right? But what I hear too is that is time consuming, technologically high, and a lot of talking about PROs and high services and evaluation means money, right? Nothing is for free. I think that premium services means investment. So my first question, and let's go randomly, let's go to Kilguna, Caterina, and Francesco. I mean, do you think that it's compatible to be a CEO, an ophthalmologist? And if it's yes, how you manage this situation, Kilguna?
Thank you, Faustino, for a very tricky question. And I won't pay you any more beers, for sure. Joke aside, being a physician, owning a clinic, treating patients, and be responsible both for the patient and for the staff gives you a lot of different professional roles. And you have to keep the right hat in the right moment. I would say that to have a perfect match of these hats is probably impossible. You have to navigate within certain rules. You have some, let's say, some professional rules you have to follow. You have to have some economical rules, because if you are too generous, you will go bankrupt, and no one will profit from that. But if you are unprofessional, then you will also be out of business. So to, let's say, to have an overview of what are your goals, how to treat the patients, how to treat your staff in order to make a general success. To be more specific and to be a bit provocative, to let's say, to count up your successes are not going to give you very much. You don't learn from your successes. You learn from your failures. And honesty together with looking thorough into your failures is probably the cheapest way to improve your skills and to improve your successes. But that needs, it needs courage to really focus on your failures and confront and be confronted by them. No one is born experts. You have to experience in order to be experienced.
Thank you for your comment. Caterina, what is your feeling about being owner of a clinic, young ophthalmologist, and premium? Three things. What do you think on that regards?
I would say sometimes it's easy. I would say sometimes it's better for the patients. I would say, like, when you are both the owner and both the surgeon, it's like I am like the technologies and so on. I'm more motivated to have like really good technologies. I understand them better, and I'm not only driven by finance. Let's say, if I would be just like the economist. But on the other hand, also, of course, it has some drawbacks. Sometimes it's difficult to make some decisions regarding that. But I would say, like, you can manage it. I have both, like, I've got both medical education and MBA. So I had it almost in the similar time when I started with my MBA by the end of my medical studies. And I would say I'm really grateful that I have this. And I would say what is really important, like all the time, try to analyze, trying to improve, never stop in one point, but always like to look in the future and try to be better in all fields and all aspects of the clinic.
Thank you. Very, very interesting and motivated. Francesco, because I know you since so long time, and as we said, I see you more often than my wife. That is true. My question to you is, Francesco, we know that you are CEO and physician, but my question is how much time you dedicate to these two activities and how compatible is, please, for the new generation that they wanted to embark in this situation?
Well, this question may need 3 hours to get a full answer, because there are so many variables to consider, the size of your clinic, the number of your employees, the volume that you're doing. So it is really to be scaled to the real situation, the actual environment where you are working. I can tell you that from my point of view, the possibility for being at the same time the lead surgeon and the CEO of the practice, it's a challenging opportunity, because you have the view from both perspectives, and this helps both the patients, because as a physician, you try to get the best for the patients, and the practice, because if you have some skills and knowledge about business administration, then you can, take decisions that are not only patients oriented, but also business oriented. In terms of time and dedication to the two activities, I can tell you a standard day in my practice. I reach the practice at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I start my clinical activities at 9, and I go up to 6. And I come back at home usually 8 o'clock, which means that 9 to 6 is my clinical time, clinical and surgery, and 7 to 9, and then 6 to 8 p.m. is my business administration job. So it's probably like a 30% to 70%.
Excellent question. I just wanted to interrupt you very fast, Faustino, for these guys to see, the slide behind me, right? I think it's a very interesting question, and we talk a lot about being the CEO of your clinic. I think almost everybody who has a private practice is the CEO of their clinic, right? Sorry for that comment.
No, that's a very appropriate comment, Ivo. The point is that in terms of finance, obviously, there is no way for someone who has like a basic background in medicine, like we as doctors, can really manage all the financial issues. So as efficiency, I think that the key role in a practice as regards finance is not the CEO, is the CFO, is the one who is really going to the numbers and giving you budgets and all of that. I don't think this is the role of the CEO. I think the role of the CEO is more the role of a leader, is more the role of setting a mission and a vision, and according to the practice, and the CFO trying to get these targets and objectives.
Excellent answer. Faustino.
Because you tell me when I need to stop to talk, because I love this topic, and I don't want to go further.
Please, everybody's having a great time. Please keep going.
No, because another thing that I like to do is you have a really nice clinics and very well, and as you said, Francesco, the CFO and the CEO role. But if I give you an unlimited budget, what is missing in your clinic to be more successful? Do you think that the unlimited budget means something, or is your hands what makes the difference together with your colleagues? What is your expectation? Unlimited budget?
I tell you, it's a matter of scaling, as I said, Faustino. It is all a matter of what is your mission, what is your target, what is your clients population, and we know there are niches of markets regarding that. My practice is more of that high-end practice, kind of boutique one. So definitely we are not looking for high volume, and we are not looking for low costs. So we are setting our strategies in intersecting the elite market of the share. And if I would have an unlimited budget, I would probably expand the practice even further, not to really be able to do more as volume, but probably in terms of giving more as regards the so-called patient's experience. So I would really very much like to have, you know, individual waiting rooms. You see, like a butler service for the clients and all of that. And I think that would be the way that I would set my practice, actually. And I'm just waiting for your unlimited budget, obviously.
Yeah, so I asked not so far Keith Gunnar, he will be the CEO of Alcon, what he will do. So maybe he can answer it. You will have your own company, how we can, and the industry can help the clinics like yours to make successful, and not only with money, please. His risk. Katerina, in the meantime, or are you come back, Gunnar?
Yeah, I think I lost you. Can you hear me now?
Perfectly.
Yeah. Okay. Can you repeat the question, because you
the main question is
the sound was a bit hacky.
Instead to set unlimited budget, let's put in the side of how industry can help your business to make it more successful, the interaction with you guys.
Let's say I have chosen to step down as a CEO some years ago. So I have a dedicated female CEO, which I'm very satisfied with. I have another female CFO. So I'm surrounded by strong women, and that can really be recommended. They keep me tight, and I have limited space of freedom, which is also nice. So I'm concentrating on two issues: the clinical production, so to speak, from pre-op to post-op, and science. That is my two. And together with the two women, we make the budgets. We try to figure out the patient flow, the optimal patient flow. I have a slightly different practice or clinic compared to Francesco, because I have 70% public patients and 30% private patients. Correct. And if you look at income, the 30% private patients are subsidizing the public sector by far. So 70% of the income are addressed from the 30% private patients. So the private patients are really paying a lot of the bill for the public patient as well. So we don't have separate waiting rooms. They are all treated exactly the same, which is probably in the spirit of the Scandinavian model. Okay. So there is some culture differences also to be respected, I guess. But again, in very good times, where the clinic has run financially extremely well, it's in those minutes we also had the most problem with the personnel. So I think to have a balance in the organization and everyone knowing what is the goal, not maximum profit, but sound profit. Focus on quality instrumentation, quality examination, and what you deliver both scientifically and also from the patient-reported reports. So that would be my rather long answer.
No, clear. And of course, the ideas of these questions, I see that you are very well prepared, because you are almost all MBAs too. So your answers are very constructive, analyzing the market, access, and a lot of things. So the idea was, of course, to challenge the young generation listening and wanting to build something to take into consideration that is a multifactorial the life can change in the process. So you start as a physician, becoming CEO, CFO, and then you can change, and etc. And indeed, to Katerina, on that regards, who you think that has a critical role other than you in your clinics? Do you have any tip who are other than you critical in your clinic to manage as a business too?
Like the critical, like the staff members, like who are the critical?
Yes, critical staff member in your clinic.
I would say for me, it's my manager. Actually, she's a nurse. And I would say like she's in our company for a really long time. And I would really say that women are good in these managerial positions. And I would say she's really, really devoted to the company. She like wants to keep in touch with everything. And I would say it's really nice to have someone who like knows like really the basics and really like all the top informations about the clinic. So I would say this one for me. I would say we are a rather small company. We have like just like 12 people, sorry, who are working for us. So we are really small team. But actually we have like really hundreds of panoptics hours a year. So we specialize on this really like 2 products. So our approach is a little bit different, I would say, maybe from Francesco. Like we have premium products, but I would say we have for all the people. So it's not only for the people who are really rich, but we have also like the people who are working for Tesco and so on. So I would say it's a little bit different approach. Like for me, each patient potentially can be the one for the panoptics. And even like the people who are, let's say, poor can have like a premium treatment. So I would say for us, the butler, I can't really like see it in our clinic.
Excellent. And I don't know if I can have the last question for the faculty, because
yes.
I'm okay. I think that the use patient satisfaction, it's we are talking now in ophthalmology. But knowing some of your clinics, potentially you can have in the same clinic, thinking about growing, okay, now maybe you can be small and tomorrow could be big. Do you see having different therapeutic areas, not only ophthalmology in your clinic, first of all, can be helpful? And secondly, which is the kind of therapeutic areas or medicine areas, I would say, out of the ophthalmology, you see like a joint venture in a futuristic clinic. It's not a small hospital, really. It's a connection to make your business more successful and your patient satisfaction higher, right? So don't think about a mini hospital. I'm thinking about connecting, marketing, and everything. So, and I will start with Francesco, that I know that he has some kind of advanced opinion on that, I guess.
Yes, Faustino, thank you. You know, we moved into this new building about 1 year ago, and the purpose for moving was not only to expand ophthalmology, but also to involve other subspecialties into the deal. So now we are providing plastic and cosmetic surgery medicine. We are providing dental surgery, dental care. We are providing gynecology, and we are providing orthopedics as well. And we are focusing on specific targets. So we are thinking that the key driver for medicine in a family is actually the woman, not the man. So we are trying to engage the women and the kids just to have the other part of the family, meaning the men, coming to the practice for medical care. And I really think that the word of mouth, as he was saying earlier, is so critical, not only in the same specialty, but also in between synergic specialties, that these synergic activity may expand the success of the practice. I have to say that we are just at the beginning of this process, but just in a few words, so far so good. So it clearly looks it may be a key success factor.
Excellent, and thank you for sharing this. I'm provoking this kind of question because I know that you are very innovative, again, all of you. And Kilguna, I'm not sure in your clinic you are developing subspecialties or model of shopping optics and together, so to increase the flow of your patient. How you are dealing with trying to get out of the pure ophthalmic surgery in your business?
Again, my clinic is different from Francesco's, and let's say we are a staff of 25 people dealing, whereof 8 full-time optometrists and 3 doctors, and of course we try to make, understand me right, production lines. So for the private refractive patient, we have dedicated personnel and dedicated protocols for that, which can be compared to other protocols for other, let's say, diabetic patients, for glaucoma patients. So we are trying to be both efficient but also providing personalized services. And this is a challenge because we only have the same 8 to 10 hours of working space to do every working day, and the patient load, especially since we have to deal with all these public patients on top of the private ones, it's a continuous process to streamline the protocols and not end up as Henry Ford producing cars, but to remember all the time that we're dealing with human beings. If we treat them well, regardless public or private, I think they will feel it. They will feel the honesty, and honesty is a word which is very hard to explain, but it's probably one of the basic pillars in my clinic's philosophy.
Thank you. I think that I will pass the ball to Ivo. Otherwise, we'll go here in Italy. We are starting to be angry with the dinner. I think that.
We didn't want the conversation to stop because, again, we don't talk about these matters, and I think are very important, and young people need to know and need to understand that this is part of that cataract journey we were talking about. So again, the challenger, I think he did an amazing job. Faustino, thank you so much. It's so great to talk to you. We talked then about, for you know, to make a summary about the management of success, about the logistics of success, and then the access to success. I think people need to go back and see many times what this amazing panel told us. There is one last item, and this is that we're talking about the post-op, right? We're talking about the mouth-to-mouth, the word of mouth, as Jason said it. We have Shemaine here that has been very supportive with us, and I would like at least a short comment about how we ophthalmologists can improve this mouth-to-mouth concept in our patients, because in the end, we can do a lot of branding, a lot of marketing, but there is nothing more powerful. So from one person that you know to tell you, go to that doctor because I had an amazing outcome and an amazing experience. What do you think, Shemaine?
Thank you. Well, I think one of the coolest things that we've done in this series is really talk about patient education and patient communication, which you really don't see, you know, it being as a hot topic or something that's really talked a lot about. And I just want to share like a quick story. 10 plus years ago, I had refractive surgery. And, you know, at the end of my surgery, when I went for my post-op and I was there with my ophthalmologist, he said, you know, are you happy? You're satisfied and all the stuff. Of course, he's asking me specific examples as well about things that I could do that, you know, before with glasses, it was kind of hindering my lifestyle. And afterwards, when I was expressing to him, you know, how happy I was, he said, well, you know, if you don't mind, you know, let people know that, you know, you had LASIK and that you're so happy, things that you couldn't do before because the glasses were hindering you. And if you don't mind, you know, if you have some time, can you do, you know, today, like a little short review online for me? This was 10 years ago, right? Imagine now with social media and everything. And so, you know, I thought that was great. And of course, as a patient, I was so happy. I was so happy to do that for him. And I was so happy to this day, 10 years later, you know, I'll tell people, you know, I got LASIK done and I'm at the age where I'm coming into presbyopia. A lot of my friends are wearing readers and I'm not. And, you know, I thank my ophthalmologist for the amazing work he did. So, you know, just as surgeons, you know, and ophthalmologists, please, you know, feel free at the end when you have that happy patient to ask them for that word of mouth referral. So thank you, Ivo. I think the series, we've talked about branding, we've talked about customer relationship management, which I think we want to change the word, right? The CRM to PRM, patient management. And then this, you know, teamwork in a surgical environment. And then this one, you're a CEO and you're a surgeon. So thank you so much for everything. And I'll give it over back to you. I see from the chat, Lisandro said you guys are going to be having a giveaway for the people that have stayed tuned.
Yes. Don't miss it. We're gonna, right now, in the end, we're gonna give away one customer surgical device and the Bionicos as well. But from what you said, and you know, we could do another webinar about this. There is data that says that 80% of people who are satisfied with you are willing to recommend you, but only 25% do. So that's a huge gap. And then when we could do many other things, I would love to have this panel again to discuss exactly about that. So we're gonna have the Lisandro is gonna do the giving away of the device. Custom surgical and Bionico, and in the end, well, you know, just in the end, we are the mask of the entire the entire series. You know, I mean, I'm getting kind of sad because it was so much work, but we had so many amazing guests. So many guests said about the community that they felt comfortable, that they were sharing knowledge, they were doing like in a chat, drinking coffee and talking with colleagues, giving them many tools and skills to improve. And finally, you know, to improve the quality of life of patients. I think that's very important. I think it's what we did. We got to the objective. I want to thank everybody who was involved. I want to thank the translators. I actually want to thank right now, I'm going to take 1 second to thank my wife. It's her birthday, and as you can imagine, he's part of this. You know, she's the one who makes everything possible. So I want to thank her and send her a happy birthday. And I want to thank you guys. Seriously, I get to have one of the best experience here. You know, talking with these amazing people, and well, we're about to end. You know, you cannot improve what you don't measure. I just can't, you know, get you know, tired of saying it again and again. Please try to have your metrics. That's the only way to improve. And again, talk about the community. I think the most important thing that differentiate ourselves, human beings, is our cognitive abilities to have critical thinking, to be open-minded, to always be learning, and also to collaborate. That's the thing that, you know, makes us unique. The extent to cooperation in large groups. So thank you so much. And I'm going to let Lisandro do the final, you know, giveaway of the machines. So thank you so much. I don't know if anybody from the panel has some final words. Dr. Carone, just one final message to the audience.
I just want to thank you for this amazing organization. I think it has been a wonderful experience for me, and I hope it is the same for all the attendees. So again, I will be ready anytime to do it again. Thanks.
Thank you. Dr. Kiel?
I'm really proud to be invited into this community, and if I have given some of the young colleagues some courage to go on into this extremely interesting field of profession, I would be very happy about that. Ophthalmology is great.
Yeah, that was the best way to put it. I agree 100%. We have the best profession in the world. I agree with that. Katerina?
Okay. Thank you. So thank you very much for the invitation. It was really a pleasure. I really like the concept of this series. It's really a different approach when we talk not about just the medicine, but about the business portion of the refractive surgery, which is really important. And I will really stress it's really like a nice field, something really important. And I would say that the ophthalmology is really not only about retina and not only about glaucoma, but the refractive surgery is really important for us as well. So thank you very much for the invitation.
No, it was a complete honor. It was a complete honor. Thank you, Faustino, for those amazing answers. And thank you for that. I'm seeing Ivo from Portugal. I'm seeing Imane right now in the US. I'm seeing so many, of the translators. We look like the United Nations. Dimitro from Ukraine, thank you so much. So, Lisandro, the stage is all yours to do the giveaway.
Okay, let's make the lottery. We have the list of all inscripts to this event. So, are you seeing my screen?
Yes, perfectly. How many do we have in total?
It's 1422. So let's put that number in.
Almost 1,500 colleagues that we touched with this. It was great. And I hope a lot more, because you're going to be able to access to this by YouTube, by the Alcon Experience Academy, by ESASO. That's going to be great.
So let's get the number. First, we will give away the MicroREC. It's okay for you? Okay.
Yes.
So let's see who's the winner.
You have it right here.
60. What's the number? 63. So, Hama Suleiman Mohammed, the Ukraine.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Dimitro, what do you think? Close to you.
Wow, Ukraine is a great winner. I don't know about Mohammed, but I very appreciate this choice. Is great choice. This great.
We're going to put you in touch. Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we have one winner, and let's go for the other one.
60.
Again, for everybody, who wants to follow us, social media, we're doing many events once a week, a lot of teaching, not only basic skills, but, complex cases, premium IOLs. We're going to be here. So everybody, who are there, who wants to follow in social media and give us comments and take that selfie and put it in Instagram, we will love it. So thank you. So we have the other one.
Yes, it's Marine Leroux. I don't know where she's from because she didn't put the country, but she won the order of Bionico.
Bionico, Bionico, perfect. So we have some data from her, or should we put another one just in case?
It's in here. I have the mail.
Okay, so we have the email. So, well, again, thank you so much. We had a great time. It was a lot of effort, but it was worth it. Look at that panel. I'm so happy. Thank you to all the translators. Cesar is now there with us. Jason did a lot of work too with the research team. Andres, Lisandro. My God, Lisandro, again, you cannot imagine that guy, how much work he does behind the scenes. So thank you again. So, okay, stay in touch and see you soon. Okay, guys.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Good night in Europe.